And sometimes you have to recall the security, which is not a very pleasant thing.
Yeah.
But you have to recall the security and the maybe auction. So those are options that we have, but are the worst options and they're the last resort that you have.
Yeah.
Yes.
Wow. Okay. So that one now means someone loses their car, someone has to lose their homes and so on and so forth.
Yeah, it is not a very pleasant position to be at. But sometimes you look at it and you say, now what do I do? Because even for me, as a lender, sometimes you have to borrow money. You have investors' money that you've put in this business. So the investors are requesting for their money back, and you have given it to people, and they're not able to meet their obligation. So it's a very, very tricky position to be at, and sometimes it requires you to have humanity, listen, but again, sometimes
now what do you do?
Easy. It's not very easy.
There's a situation that came up a couple of months ago, especially when now the new government took place. Hustler Fund ikaingia katika mtandao. And people were saying, me, I'm going to borrow this money and not repay. So I'm looking at the mentality of Kenyans, and especially those ones who are huko chini kabisa, because that is what the Hustler Fund was targeting. Do you think that we are in a position as Kenyans, me and you know, my colleagues in the studio, and even Mama Mboga out there, to, with the current, especially now with the rising prices of commodities from fuel to food and all that, do you think we are in a position to actually even borrow money internally? Me borrowing you money so that I can do biashara with it, because I'm not even sure if tomorrow I'm going to make profits. I might wake up, nipate mafuta tena imepanda, of which actually nafaa kupanda in a couple of days time. Nipate mafuta imepanda, chakula imepanda, and so on and so forth. Do you think that we are in a position to actually borrow and service loans?
Do we have an option? That would be the question. Do we have an option? Because you see, you have to live in hope that things are going to be better the next day.
Yeah.
If you don't live in hope, how would you be able to survive?
Yes.
Basically, for you to be able to grow as an individual or as a business owner, you have to borrow. You have to borrow. It is to save 10,000 is more difficult than to make extra 10,000.
You think so?
Yes, for you to save
in this economy where you save 10,000, then you're called, your child has COVID. Now you have to spend all that 10,000.
That's why I'm saying it is very difficult to save 10,000 shillings than to make an extra 10,000. So you need to think about, how do I need to make extra 10,000 than to ask yourself, how do I save 10,000 shillings? And that is the option that we have as Kenyans today. And I'm talking as an individual Kenyan who is also is in the same economy.
Yeah.
It is not easy for a Kenyan today to be able to say they're able to meet all their needs until have an extra, maybe to save or to invest. I don't think very many Kenyans have that luxury.
Yeah.
So basically you need to borrow. You need to borrow either through your payslip or through the assets that you have or through your connection, but you need to borrow to be able to move. That is my thinking about it.
Yeah.
Yes.
Currently as well, even the taxation levels are rising. Just yesterday, I think it was, or the day before, the president said Kenyans need now to start contributing about 3%, and I think that was for civil servants. About 3%, you know, to go towards affordable housing and so on and so forth. And it's like Kenyans are feeling they're overtaxed. They are unable to break even, whether it's at work, whether it's for their biashara. We all know counties usually come up with taxes every now and then. Mara leo mnakatwa levy, mara ni fuel, mara saa ni ya barabara, then now ndio hii housing inakuja. The economy of this country as it is right now, because I'm sure these are things that as Ngao Credit mnafanyanga hesabu as you decide what percentages to give, you know, to give loans out on. Do you think that the current economic situation in this country is volatile, or it's just smooth sailing?
I would say it's very volatile. It's very volatile because even when I look at the people who borrow from me and I ask them, what do you need the money for? We do that at Ngao Credit a lot. We ask you, what do you need the money for?
Yeah. Do people lie? Someone says, I want kuna kashama taka kumalizia kulipa.
Of course they lie. Of course,
but yeye ni harusi anaenda kufanya.
Some people lie.
Yeah.
But you will look at it because we don't just do it. There is a scientific way of looking at it.
Okay.
We have got tools. We are in the age of artificial intelligence.
Of detecting lies?
No, not of detecting lies. We look at your statement. Your statement will tell a lot.
Okay.
Your statement will tell a lot. Utatuambia unafanyanga nini, pesa zako ni ngapi zinaingia, how much do you have that goes in, how much comes
Gets out. Yeah.
You see, so we will be able to do analysis on that to make decisions out of it. But basically, the state of the economy today is not very, very conducive for borrowers and especially business people at the lower cadre. There's a challenge.
Yeah.
And we cannot run away from it.
Okay.
There is a challenge at the lower cadre, and you see taxation is increasing. The cost of running business is also increasing. If you look at the fuel, we've talked about the fuel levies coming up. We were buying fuel 2 years ago at 80 bob. Right now, it's almost double that.
Yeah.
So
actually,
it's more than double that.
Yes.
It's more than double that. So you're looking at, in a period of 2 years, your cost of running the business, if let's say you're in transport business, the cost has gone as double. Spare parts, things like that. So basically, business people are feeling the pinch. And these are the people who are running the economy. So it would be a lie to say that the economy is not in a rough time. And we are going to have this rough time for a short a period of time.
It's funny you've mentioned the way things are going up. Last month, same time, the lotion that we use at home was, I can't remember the price, but I remember going last week to the supermarket to buy it. It had increased by almost 200 shillings. And someone was telling me it's because of the way the dollar is behaving right now. Dollar has been rising, and it looks like we are being affected because a majority of our things are imported. We import, everything from our fuel to our foods to our electronics as well. So I do not know, for business people who want to thrive in this economy, even if they're coming to borrow from you, what are some of the tips you can give them towards making sure that the money that they're investing is actually making sense for them?
I would say be very keen on whom you're borrowing from. Be very keen on whom you're borrowing from. And if you look at, you mentioned earlier on in the show that they're predatory borrowers or lenders.
Yes.
And they're saying, oh, please pay, please pay. Be very careful of the fine print. Read the fine print.
Who does that? No one reads.
No. I'm urging these people, because you're a businessman. You ask me what tips do I have to tell them. Read the fine print.
Yes.
If you don't read the fine print, you're going to be caught. Number two, right now, at least in our space, there's a law. The lenders, the central bank is regulated us, and you see like Ngao Credit, we are licensed to operate in this space.
Okay.
Go look at people who are licensed. Don't borrow from people who are
Shylocks wanakupatia pesa haraka.
No, watakupatia pesa haraka. Watakupatia pesa haraka, lakini utalipa wapi?
Okay.
Utaumia.
You know what? I want us to take a short break.